is we're going to prep the outside of the diff, the outdrives here with grease, and we're going to fit the plates to them, the diff plates. You'll see that the diff plates, the shape they are, they have a circle on a flat spot that keys up one way on here, so then the diff plates can't slide at all. So I have to be real careful not to get any black grease on any of that stuff. So what I'm going to do is, since I got a little black grease on this paper towel here, I'm going to actually flip my paper towel over. But I don't want any of that on there. I keep that clean. So we're going to use a white stuff, the silicone diff grease here. I'm just going to put it on my fingers. Wipe it on here. See how much it's going on. There we go for that one. Grab the plate on there. Okay, one done. Grab my second one here. Put a little more on my finger. And I don't think this has to be said, but I'll say it anyways. Make sure your fingers are clean. You don't want to be putting any, extra grease or whatever you possibly could, dirt or anything on your fingers onto the diff. Wipe my fingers off here. Put the second plate on. Okay, now on this side here, with the little nub sticking off the male side, I'm going to drop the bearing on it. And drop the shim. Drop another bearing. So we got a shim sandwich there. Next what we're going to do is we're going to take our balls and get them out of the package. I'm just going to lay them here on my clean towel. Make sure they don't go running away from you. Like that one just did. So they will definitely run away. I just want to be ready with them. And then I need my diff gear here too. So what we're going to do now, get the diff gear, get the balls. I'm going to put more grease on this plate. Okay. Take my gear, I drop my gear over on this with the bearings. Let's fit it on. And now I'm going to take those bearings, or those balls there, I'm going to get a little bit of, put a little bit of grease on here. Now when I say grease, I mean the silicone, the white stuff, same thing we've been using. I'm going to pick one of them up, I'm going to drop it in the hole. More silicone grease, pick another one up, drop it in the hole. Okay, and then just keep doing that. Probably help a little bit too if your tips are magnetic. I think I talked about this the other day. If they're not magnetic, all you need to go do is go to your local hardware store or hobby shop, whichever one. Most hardware stores should have them. And what you want to look for is a neodymium magnet. You can get them on Amazon too. Doesn't need to be anything real special, just enough neodymium that they're really strong. And all you do with that magnet is you just touch the screwdriver to it a few times, rub it on there, and voila, magnetized screwdriver. And the magnetized screwdriver really, I mean, I don't care what you're working on. There's some of those guys that use stainless steel hardware, and I suppose it's a weight savings, but it would drive me nuts because stainless steel is not magnetic. You're dropping screws all over the place, and you know the hexes will hold them a little bit, obviously, but having that magnetic, sure, I think it's huge. I magnetize all my screwdrivers. I work as an electrician by trade, and all my screwdrivers I use there have I magnetize them. I keep a little magnet in my toolbox just for that reason. Well, not just for that reason, but it's one of the reasons I keep it in there. A little more, the last one here. Okay. Set the piece that we just did aside, and try not to get it to tip over on me. Stay there. And I'm going to take this one here, and I'm going to put some more grease on that. The video don't show this, but maybe there'll be enough for the balls, but it's always good. That grease, that'll work its way out. It'll be whatever it needs to be. Okay. I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to put it together. Okay, now you got to check out, make sure you want the side, the diff side that has the thrust bearing in it. All you do is look, it's this side here. So what I'm going to do with the thrust bearing is I'm going to drop my screw into the thrust bearing. Okay. I'm going to take a screwdriver, clean it first. I take a screwdriver, and I'm just going to put it on there to hold it so it doesn't fall out of there on me. Okay. Now I'm going to take the spring, and I'm going to prep this spring. I'm going to put it in the pliers and squeeze it a couple times, get it prepped. And you can see. Okay. I drop my spring in the other side. Take your nut, drop some Loctite in the closest side to it that's going to go into the diff, so the screw gets some Loctite on it. So I'm going to hold that nut on there with my other wrench here. Take your straight blade screwdriver and tighten that diff up. Get it to start. There, I got it to start. Now what we're going to do is once it's started, just going to turn it to break it in. Get those balls to kind of find their place a little bit, and I can still tell it's pretty loose yet. I'm going to tighten it up until I can't move it anymore, which won't be too much. Anyways, I'm breaking in like this. I'm going to see how tight it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lock both sides up with my wrenches, and I'm going to see if I can turn the center. And I can. So that what that tells me is it's still too loose. What should happen is the motor is going to spin this tranny, and it's going to spin it like this. And then these are where your axles are going to come out. And you don't want the axles to be able to sit still and this gear to spin it out, because that's going to diff out, not good, make lots of noise, wreck your diff. You want those balls in there to slide. You want, when one side turns, what's happening is it's spinning the ball, and the ball's in return is spinning the other side the other way. That's what you want. That helps you get around the corner. If you can hold these still and spin this, what's happening is the balls aren't moving, and it's just going to create a groove in there. So I'm going to tighten this screw down in 1/8 inch or 1/8 turn increments. So if this is from this spot here to this would be a 1/4 turn, right? Because half turn would be all the way over. So half of a quarter would be an 1/8. So that's what I'm going to tighten it as. I'm going to tighten it up an 1/8. Okay. And now I'm going to spin this guy.